Number 78, riding for Piedmont College, Lachlan Holiday. Apparently just tore it up out there at Collegiate Nationals. How many podiums did you get? All of them? 2? That's pretty good. Still fair. How many top 10s? All of them? Yeah. So he's definitely a rider to watch tonight. He will be up there at the front. And that's Lachlan asking for a little crowd. And 71, Jacob Holt riding for Georgia Tech. Or he's from Georgia Tech. I don't know if he's actually riding for Georgia Tech tonight. Jacob Holt. Jacob must be hung up in traffic on the warm-up track. We'll go ahead and call Willem Kaiser out as well. Willem Kaiser. That's Jacob now pulling out onto the track, right, wearing the Welland kit. And behind him, Willem Kaiser. All right. Yeah, cheer it on for both those riders. Potential collegiate sensations. And from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Mr. Richard Keller. I like talking about Richard Keller from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, because I like saying Murfreesboro, Tennessee, because I was born in Murfreesboro, Tennessee as well. Also known as the Jolly Green Giant, he never doesn't have a smile on his face. And 61, Reese Latham, one of our junior riders here. Always happy to see Reese out and come through the ranks. And number 80, Colin Telekia. Hopefully I pronounced your name correct. Colin, you can feel free to correct me later. And behind Colin, we will have number 8, Valentin Todoro. All right, thank you, Colin. And where's Val? There's Val. Valentin, a longtime rider here at the Dick Lane Velodrome. And finally, 35, Frank Travieso. Frank, of course, not unfamiliar to the U.S. cycling world. The evergreen continues to keep going and as fast as ever. Number 83, Lamin Wright. Lamin went to nationals for the first time this year and got some nice top 10 results. We're happy to see him move up from the junior ranks to the A fields here at the Dick Lane Velodrome. Number 22, Sam Rideout. And 123, Trey Hedgecock. There's Sam Rideout. Sam is an outstanding first-year elite rider here with us. And looking for Trey. It's Trey. Trey Hedgecock, ladies and gentlemen, out on the track right now. And last but certainly not least, this year's DLV Rider of the Year, your Youth Cycling League coach, and with the best locks in all of cycling, Mr. Aaron Young. Look at that hair. That is fantastic hair, if I do say so. You have different kind of hair, Annunciata. Don't worry, yours is pretty too. And with that said, we are going to kick off our racing finally now that we've introduced everybody with our women's point a lap. So ladies, let's head up to the boards, please, right now. What? 11. We have 2 more, 12 maybe.
Always matter.
And waiting on the whistle from our chief judge, Scott Patton, to get our racing started tonight. And that's the first whistle of the night. Racing is underway. This is the point a lap. What does that mean? Well, every time they cross the finish line each lap, the first person gets a point. And at the end of the race, the person with the most points is crowned the winner. And let's see. It was number 96, Sloan Fletcher, taking out the first point. Just pipping Jenna Davis on the line there for that point. Jenna looks like she went a little deep right there trying to get that first point. She's got to get back onto terms. Now is Annalise Ostrike, number 1, definitively getting that point that time. So Morgan Stern looks like she's going to open up her account at the bank of points. Oh, but Annalise, she says, nope, nope, nope. Madeline Pierce coming over the top of Annalise. Annalise didn't want to put in that much effort, and Madeline took advantage of that. And Madeline, number 21, there with that point. Annalise back on the front. Annalise will try not to make that same mistake again. And our chief judge gives that one to number 23 as Morgan Stern. Morgan probably wanted to get on the boards a little sooner than that, but found the opportunity that time. And number 5, our out-of-towner, Mary Wentz, getting and Mary is going to continue on and be the first person to break the 5-way tie for 1 point. So Mary with 2 points and 4 others tied on 1 point. Annalise Ostrike, Sloan Fletcher, and Madeline Pierce, all with 1 point. Mary looks like she's going to go ahead and pick up a 3rd point here. But Morgan Stern, she does not want to give Mary that much distance. Morgan closes down the pace. Annalise right back up to the front. She's got a little help from Amelia Hicks down in the lane. Now Annalise turns on the afterburners. Annalise definitely doesn't want to have to compete hard for this point. So Annalise sees she has a gap. She's going to capitalize on that gap. She's going to keep rolling. Meanwhile, the pacemaking back in the field is being left up to Maria Giusti. Maria seeing the danger and letting someone like Annalise go. Annalise got a gap quickly, so now she is tied on 3 points with Mary Wentz. And Annalise just turning it on. The rest of the riders are having to work together. Morgan Stern now on the front. Maria definitely burned some matches with that pull. Does just how hard Annalise is going right now. As Annalise continues to roll up lapped riders. And Annalise now with 4 points. If Annalise can get a couple of more points, she has a very good chance of holding on to this from a statistical advantage. So she's definitely going to get 5 points. Let's see if she can hold on for one more. I think Madeline Pierce is going to roll her up. But Annalise may have done enough if she can just stay in there. With seeing 3 more laps to go. And Morgan Stern, number 23, taking that point. That helps Annalise cause out. Because at this point, Morgan can win the next 2 laps and finish ahead of Annalise in the count back. And this would give her the win. But if Morgan takes this point, Mary will be unable to do that, and that's exactly what happened. It's going to be close. Let's see. Morgan going to go for this point. This is going to be it. This is going to be the make or break it lap. And indeed, Morgan gets that point. Up to 4 points. But now, if she wins that last lap, Morgan may have very well clawed herself back into the race now. And then we will go to the count back. And Morgan Stern taking the last and final point. That gives her 5 points to Annalise's 5 points, but we will go to the officials to make that proper call. That was a pretty exciting and tactical race. Lots of riders putting themselves on the board early. And then we saw the strongest riders, Annalise, Morgan, and Mary, come out towards the end. Let's get our men to the boards, please. Calling up our men to the boards. Also for a 15-lap, point-a-lap race. And our riders are rolling away on a neutral lap. With a race like the point a lap, we give the riders a full neutral lap so that they can properly start the race out. Because we don't count the first time they cross the finish line towards the points. So effectively, they're going around twice right now. Track racing has plenty of nuances just like this. I will do my best to explain them through the night. And the whistle from our chief official, Scott Patton, and Lamin Wright, that's number 83. He is shooting out of the start like a cannon. He wants that first point. He is definitely an up-and-coming sprinter for the future. Richard Keller is like, yeah, I want to ride on this train. And Dylan Cantrell right on Richard's wheel. So Lamin takes those first points. Well, first point, rather. And then Lamin just needs to stay in the field. So Richard Keller, he now is trying to get the point for lap 2. Dylan Cantrell still has a little gap on Richard Keller. And John Kroom, he's like, yep, this party's getting started. So Kroom making up that gap super fast on Richard Keller. Dylan Cantrell is going to let Richard have a second point. So that puts Richard definitively in the lead there. Meanwhile, we have what I call the shrapnel back in the field. This is what happens when the field gets literally torn apart. And everybody goes, oh my God, why did this thing get so fast, so quick? And here we go. John Kroom putting himself on the boards for the 1 point now. And the rest of the field scrambling to get on the terms while there's a bike race happening off the front. And John Kroom with another point. Frank Travieso finally made his way through the scrum. He's leading on the front. We have a small group with Frank, Lachlan Holiday, Dylan Cantrell, Colin Telekia, and Richard Keller. And John Kroom taking another point. That is going to put him on 4. And John Kroom, a one-man wrecking ball, but Frank Travieso, he decides, all right, it's time to put an end to this. And Frank, 35, number 35, getting a quick point. And Frank, doing what all good racers should do after an attack, he continues pedaling through and stretches out another quick group. And John Kroom now on 5. So small group, there was a brief respite, and Daniel Brewer now heading off the front. That is what you want to do. You want to take advantage of any lull in the pace. And find that to make your attack. And that is a sizable gap from Daniel Brewer. I think that's even larger than John Kroom's gap at any point in the night. So 56, Daniel Brewer with 2 points. Willem Kaiser, a breakaway man himself, he decides he wants to get across, sees that as a good opportunity. And Daniel Brewer now on 3 points. Williams still trying to get across. He's slowly making up ground on Daniel, but it looks like they are stuck mano a mano. Willem looking back over his shoulder, seeing if any help is coming up behind him. You are on your own there, Willem. And Daniel Brewer putting another point in. Willem Kaiser still fighting valiantly to catch up to Daniel as they see 2 laps. They're going to see 2 laps to go. 1 lap to go. This is going to be the bell lap for Daniel and Willem. And Daniel's going to pull that point. Willem is going to turn himself inside out. He needs to get a point to get himself on the board. Aaron Young, meanwhile, and Lachlan Holiday, they're not going to hold any prisoners either. Aaron Young blitzing across, catches Willem. Is he going to have enough to catch Daniel on the line? Man makes up that gap fast. Daniel puts in a brief sprint, but Aaron Young catches that last point ahead of Daniel Brewer. Willem Kaiser and Lachlan Holiday rolling across the line behind them. That'll go towards the count back. So unofficially, Daniel and John Kroom both had 5 points. Daniel being first across the line ahead of Kroom. That would be the count back. So we'd go back to the placing on the final lap. So that would unofficially give Daniel the victory here. So Daniel putting himself on the boards with that. And tonight we are racing in an international omnium style format. And so what is that, you may ask? Well, since Daniel won this first race, he gets 40 points for the win. And the next place getter gets 38 for second, 36 for third, 34 for fourth, so on and so forth, all the way down to 20 places. All riders, well, we can't have anybody lower than 20 places because we only have 19 riders in our field tonight. But if we did, they would get 1 point each for participating in the race. The points add up through the evening, and the person with the most points at the end of the night wins. But there's a nice little twist towards the end of the night in the points race, which I will explain later. Don't want to give away all the secrets just yet.
All right, let's call our women up to the boards for my favorite race, personally. And our women rolling off the boards for the unknown distance. I could tell you how long it would be, but then all the bookies would get mad at me. So the unknown distance is actually as simple as it sounds. We race around in circles until we decide to ring the bell or the riders fall down, whichever comes first. So the race could be as short as one lap or as long as, I don't know, how much time do we have tonight? So the unknown distance is a pretty interesting race. It usually rewards the aggressor, the one person who decides to go off the front and brave it alone, not knowing how many laps they have, because usually all the other riders are too timid. They want to wait for that sprint. Sometimes it works out in the sprint, but usually I see one solo rider just dangling off the front for lap after lap after lap. And that underdog role that is just begging for the bell to be rung. So we'll see if anybody in our women's race is going to put on that brave face and roll off the front. So our ladies are riding quite a tactical race right now. They are definitely not riding slow, but they are riding tactical. Launching some probing attacks. And a little bumping of bars between Morgan and Amelia there, fighting for positioning there. All right, so now the question becomes, now that we are laps in, when are we going to ring the bell? Is it going to be this lap? Is it going to be the next lap? The lap after? Is it going to be this lap? This lap? This lap? No, not this lap. So 9 laps in. And we've got an attack from Madeline Pierce up top, with Annalise Ostrike covering her. Not this lap. Almost. We'll see. If it were up to me, I would launch an attack right at this moment. Would go high, launch an attack as things are coming back together and slowing down. This would be the perfect moment to catch everybody off guard. Let's see if anybody is listening to me out there. Nope, they're all bunched up. And are we going to get the bell this time? This time, no. No bell. Let's see. We're getting antsy up here. We're getting antsy. Is it going to be this lap? This lap? This lap? This lap? No! No, not this lap. Jennifer Schubel up top. Not exactly in prime position, but in position to cover any moves. And Annalise Ostrike also a little boxed in right there. This lap, no, not this lap. So number 96, Sloan Fletcher, she's sitting in a great spot, as is Madeline Pierce, ready to react when the bell does get rung. I know we've got a couple of other riders out there that are really wishing that we'd hurry up and ring the bell so this race can be finished. Is it going to be this lap? Is it going to be this lap? This lap! Last lap! Bell, 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 bell! And we didn't quite see the attack from Madeline Pierce and Annalise Ostrike. Launching pretty fast. Jenna Davis on Annalise's wheel. Let's see if Jenna Davis can hold on for that third spot. Annalise Ostrike looks like she is showing her heels to the field. And she is going to take that win. And it looks like Morgan Stern, number 23, just pipping 21, Madeline Pierce for second place. And Jenna Davis hanging on for fourth. So that was a pretty exciting finish there to that race. We'll go ahead and get our men up to the boards for the men's unknown distance. Yeah, all right, men, up to the boards, please. Get our men's field up to the boards.
And our riders rolling off the boards for their neutral start. We saw some early aggression in the women's race. We'll see what tactic the men take. And we need to get our men to get bunched up. Hey guys, you got to get bunched up before we can start. Bunch up, bunch up. Bunch up, guys. All right, you're going around another lap. Guys, bunch up, please. And there we go. Now we got the whistle for the start. We are racing. And a hot neutral leading into a tempo start. Our riders all rotating off the front very consistently, deciding that is not the wheel I want to be on. So it looks like our men are going to keep the tempo high on this one, at least to start. I guess everybody is a little concerned for a short bell. As positioning in this race is equally important. You can't be too far back in case the bell rings, but you don't want to be too far forward and end up doing all the work. Daniel Brewer picks the pace up a little bit. And Richard Keller and Willem Kaiser both responding, picking the pace up. John Kroom right there. Double Barrel Daryl was on the front right at that moment. He just slow rolled a little bit to slot in behind Kroom. And 4 laps down. And Willem launching a little soft attack off the front. That's a nice little move. As Willem was pulling through, I think Richard Keller was expecting Willem to roll up after that, but Willem just accelerated instead, and that's how you get a gap like that. It's actually a pretty smooth little move. Richard seeing that he shouldn't let Willem get away. Willem, though, deciding he doesn't want to go into that effort that quickly. And the guy's wondering now when they're going to get the bell. Now that we're 6 laps down, Daniel Brewer is going to keep the pace high. That's number 56 there on the front, with John Kroom, number 87, right behind him. Frank Travieso was hiding at the back. He's decided that was a little too dangerous to be back there. So is this going to be the lap? Is this going to be it? No. So 7 laps down, still no bell. And our field definitely strung out as the pace is being kept high lap after lap. This is going to make it hard for some riders here. If and when the bell does ring, you're going to find a lot of riders out of position. And that's the bell, last lap. That seems to have just been the luck of the draw on who was where on that one. As John Kroom definitely turning on the speed. He passes by Lachlan Holiday. Opens up a sizable gap there to the finish. Enough time to salute the crowd. And we'll have to go back to the camera on second place between Lachlan and Frank Travieso. I'm pretty sure Reese Latham snuck his nose in there with a 4th place on that one. So good job for Reese there. Might be feeling some Shakespeare coming on. He might be small, but he is mighty.
So that was a very exciting race for an unknown distance. No breakaway, but still left us in suspense with the constant attacks and positioning reshuffles. So we're going to go on a quick 10-minute break. Make sure you go over and see the wood-fired pizza and check out the merch table. And we will return in about 10 minutes. Madison Riders, quick note. Madison Riders, if you have not already, please make sure you get your Madison numbers squared away or jerseys for the Madison warm-up. Not that our Madison riders probably need it, but the track is open for Madison warm-up. The track is open for Madison warm-up only. Barman is also going to be giving out jerseys and numbers, so stand by for that. But the only people who should be on the track right now will be our Madison riders for Madison warm-up.
Madison partner.
Who needs a Madison partner? Howard. All right, and look at that. You're already wearing the similar jersey. I don't know if you can keep wearing that jersey. All right, strike that. The track is also open to Youth Cycling League. So Youth Cycling League riders, you can get out on the track as well. So Madison riders, I might, just keep conscientious about what's going on out there if you do want to go out. Because we are going to do our Youth Cycling League race before we do our Madison race.
Barman.
So our Youth Cycling League program here at the DLV is free and open to all youth from the ages of 7 to 16. We provide the bicycles due to our gracious sponsors and support to keep the program going. So it's a great way to get your young one out here on the track in a safe and controlled environment. I definitely hold that track cycling is perhaps the safest form of cycling you can do. Which sounds really strange considering all these riders have no brakes and cannot stop pedaling. But it teaches a lot of great skills on the bike. And it's a lot of fun to watch. And a great physical activity to keep your young ones active. So we want to thank some of our sponsors and important people helping to put this Spin the District East Point Velodrome Edition race, make that happen tonight. Definitely want to thank the Atlanta Airport District, of which East Point is a part of, as well as Hapeville and College Park. We want to thank Q&A Events for their event expertise. Ethic Creative Works, Mr. Wayne Whitesides and his passion for cycling, as well as the East Point Track Club for being the muscle to make sure all of the events here at the Dick Lane Velodrome continue to happen. Of course, the Spin the District is a series of mini events. They had criteriums early in the year, back in May, in Hapeville and College Park, as well as having a Grand Fondo starting out of Union City on Sunday with paved and unpaved options. All right, Daryl and Frank, please come in. Daryl and Frank, please come in and get your number. Come in, Frank, get your number. Get your Madison number, Frank. Come on in. Daryl, come on in. So coming up in about 2 minutes, we're going to have our Youth Cycling League races. And we are going to have a guest announcer. We're going to have DLV Rider of the Year and Youth Cycling League Coach Extraordinaire, Aaron Young, come up to the judges stand to tell us what's going on in the Youth Cycling League races and help us identify who is who. And maybe give us some beauty tips for hair like that. If he says mayo and olive oil, I'm gonna be so upset. All right, if we can find Mr. Aaron Young. There he is. He's giving instructions to his youth cycling league riders. So we'll let him finish those instructions up. It looks like Aaron has given his final instructions to his young charges. Those final preparation moments. League B riders up to the boards right now. If you are a YCLB, head on up to the boards. Yep. Make sure you paddle right on up to the boards. And I am going to introduce your coach, Mr. Aaron Young.
Thanks, Rob. First up, we have the Youth Cycling League B group. These are our riders who are newer to the Youth Cycling League. They haven't been racing as long as our A group, but they have just as much enthusiasm and excitement to be out here. We've been out here since the beginning of March, training every Monday night and Thursday night. As a reminder, it is a free youth program, so anybody ages 8 and up to 16, please come out and check it out. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 every Monday and Thursday from March all the way through mid-October. I'm going to go through and introduce the riders that we have here. Please give them a big round of applause as I go down the list. Right up front, we have leading the pack, Charlie. Give him a big wave.
Yeah, Charlie. Woo!
Charlie is one of our most fearless riders out here on the track. Behind Charlie, we have Isaac. Isaac, give him a big wave.
You look fast, Isaac.
Isaac is actually one of the fastest riders in this group, so watch out for him. Behind Isaac, we have Ewan.
Yeah.
Behind Ewan, we have Keytray coming back out to the Youth Cycling League.
Go, Keytrick.
Our hometown favorite. Behind Keytray, we have Madison.
Yeah, Madison.
This is Madison's first big race, so please give her lots of applause. Behind Madison, we have Montavious.
Montavious. Woo!
All right, riders. We are going to do a 3-lap scratch race. You will have a full neutral lap. If you're all together in turn 4, we'll give you the bell, and you will be racing. You'll see 3 laps to go on the boards. The riders ready? Go ahead and roll off. Stay together, riders. Stay together.
And so they're doing a full neutral lap right now, right, Aaron?
We are giving them a full neutral lap. We want them to get as much racing as possible tonight.
That's awesome. All right, crowd, every time they come by, I want you guys to light this place up. Let's make it so loud for them.
They haven't been out here very long, but they are very in tune with how to do a pace line. Make sure to give them a big round of applause as they hear the bell and they're coming out of turn 4 and they'll be racing. All right, and these riders are racing. And right away, we have Charlie leading the pack, not wanting it to be a slow race. And just like that, Isaac not letting Charlie do all this pace setting. He's off there chasing him down already. Look at these riders go. So much aggression out there. Isaac's only in the single digits, and he looks like he's been racing for 10 years. Riders coming around and seeing 2 laps to go. That's 2/5 of a mile that these riders have left in the race. Not wanting to be outdone, Keytray comes to the front. Keytray on the front of the race, leading this out. Madison trying to chase him down. Ewan leading the pack on the back. Keytray out with a 20-meter lead over Madison. We got Montavious closing it down. They're going to come around and hear the bell. Make sure you give them lots of noise, folks. This is anyone's race. Keytray's running away with it at this point. Madison's going to chase him down. They're going to get the bell. Let's give them some encouragement.
All right, last lap. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Make some noise.
Last lap, riders. Let's go. Last lap. Montavious making the move. Keytray's leading it out. Let's go, riders. Last lap. Oh, Keytray's on the top, so I don't think he knows that he's still going.
Oh, they're all feeling the burn right now.
He's picking. We got Ewan making a late race charge. Put himself into 3rd place. He's trying to make a move over Madison, but goes a little high. Madison's holding on to 2nd place, but Keytray's running away with it. Keytray's on the home stretch. Make lots of noise for him. This is going to be his first win of his career. And it's Keytray on the front. Madison holds on for 2nd, and Ewan running out the podium. Make lots of noise for them, folks. A big round of applause to Charlie rounding out the field.
Come on, finish strong, Charlie, all the way to the line. There you go, buddy.
Great ride, Charlie.
All right, well, let's get our Youth Cycling League A riders up to the boards right now. Youth A riders.
These A riders here are more experienced riders. They got a little bit more speed in them. They might race some other disciplines. Very fast, very experienced, very little.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce our riders here, Aaron?
Well, on the front, we have two brothers whose younger brother was just in that last race, animating it from the gun. On the front, we have Coleman. Behind Coleman is his younger brother, Joseph. Between the two of them and their youngest brother, Isaac, they are some of our faster locals here in East Point. Behind them, we have Will. Will, one of our newer riders here at the track, but what he lacks in track experience, he makes up in skill. Behind Will, we have Rhea.
Rhea is one of our veterans here at the Youth Cycling League, isn't she, Aaron?
Rhea is one of our veterans, and actually her older brother, Lamin, is in the pro race with me, so watch out for her as she comes up through the ranks.
Fast runs in the family.
Behind Rhea, we have Philip.
You muted yourself. We can't dampen the spirit of Aaron here.
We can't. Behind Philip, we have one of our most experienced riders, a medalist in many national competitions. We have Audrey. All of these riders are excited to get going here, so we're going to do 3 laps, riders. You're going to have a full neutral lap. If you're all together in turn 4, we'll give you the bell, and you will be racing. You'll see 3 laps to go. Riders ready? Roll out. Let's make lots of noise for these young riders, folks. A lot of these riders are starting to get competitive nationally in their age group. So we're going to see some really exciting racing here. They've been training all summer long for this, and they're ready to go. Look how neutral that lap is. That's pro right there.
I'm pretty sure that's more neutral than your last neutral lap in your race was.
I wish we were going that neutral. That would be lovely. All right, these riders are going to get the bell out of 4, and they're going to be racing. Make sure to give them plenty of noise as they're coming around. Bang those boards. Clap those hands. We are racing. You see these riders split 4 wide across the track. That's because these are our experienced riders. No one wants to take the front quite yet. But we got Rhea of the Wright family really ripping it up, wanting to start to take the pace up. Rhea is one of the fastest riders in this field, and I'd be watching out for her at the end. She's got a heck of a kick. Right behind Rhea, we have Will and Coleman fighting for that second wheel, but Will wants to take it. He wants to be in position as they're coming into 2 laps to go. They still spread wide across the track, but we got Joseph making attack on the outside. He wants to take this one early, and already he opens up a 10-meter gap. He's not looking back. He's just going for it. He's caught everyone off guard. We got Will taking a big run at Joseph. Will, not one to let it go. They're going to get the bell on a turn 4 and make lots of noise for these riders, folks.
And we're all back together.
And there we go. We got Audrey on the top. Our national medalist taking it out. And already she opens up a huge gap. Audrey Zentz is running away with this race. And there goes Will chasing her down again. We got Philip fighting for 3rd wheel, but Audrey's running away with this race, 20 meters in front of Will, but Will's closing fast. Can he get there? Is Audrey going to hold on? It's going to be close, but Audrey holds on for the win. Will takes 2nd. Oh, it's a sprint finish for 3rd, but I think Joseph got it. Philip finishes 4th, Rhea in 5th, and Coleman rounds out our race. Give them a big round of applause, folks.
Good job, riders. That was some excellent racing out there. You've got some good kids here, Aaron. You're training them well.
They're dedicated. They come out here. We have fun. Every Monday night and Thursday night, it is a free program. We provide the bikes, helmets, shoes, coaching, everything. Just bring them out, sign up a waiver, and we'll get them started.
All right, well, thanks, Aaron. We'll let you get out there and get your Madison warm-up on. So, Madison riders, I've been told you can do a quick Madison warm-up. So, Madison riders, let's get out there. Let's get some hand-holding and square dancing going on.
Oh, I'll be down there.
Wants to come down here and help Andy Bailey and Mr. Brick Dangerblade. We need one person to help keep our scoreboard fresh and clean. All right, so what we have out here right now, we'll go ahead and explain the dynamics of the Madison race to everybody here. The Madison is like a points race. So a points race, every set number of laps, the riders sprint for points. First place across the line gets usually 5 points. Second place gets 3, third place gets 2, and fourth place gets 1. Now we're changing that dynamic a little bit and we're turning it into a team event or with a partner event. The partners perform what is called an exchange, where one rider who has a lot of speed literally grabs the hand of a rider coming down track with lesser speed and transfers that momentum to that rider and slings that rider into the race. Really not so much a sling as a transfer of energy, of course, since we're talking about all physics and stuff here. I feel like Breaking Bad here and like yelling out magnets or something, but something similar along those lines. So the riders will exchange, and usually there's some tactics involved here. You have one rider who might be better at sprinting, another rider who might be better at the endurance. So you'll see attacking like in a points race, but then the riders will also be trying to work out a plan as best they can while going 35 miles an hour and their hearts racing at 200 beats a minute to tell each other, hey, mate, I'd like to throw you in maybe with 1 lap to go before the sprint. Do you think you can handle that? And they have to do that in the expanse of literally a second and a half during an exchange. So it's quite the exciting race. There'll be lots of breath-holding moments as riders make exchange and you see questionable decision-making from other riders. We have a few rules that we want to hold with the Madison. Riders should never exchange through or underneath another exchange. That can create problems for obvious reasons. As Valentin and Howard performed a textbook exchange right there. Valentin then swung up track, but he could also swing down track onto the apron to clear out of the way. So once an exchange is made, that rider is then in the race and racing until they exchange out. There is such a thing as a missed exchange. If the riders do attempt an exchange and draw even with each other, but they do not complete the exchange, so the energy is not transferred, that is a missed exchange. And unfortunately, even though all of the energy and spunk in that relationship is gone, that rider now has to make up all the speed and get himself back into the race. So right now, if you're out there in the crowd, we are live streaming this on YouTube and on Facebook. So text your friends, say, hey, I'm at this really cool track race right now in Atlanta, Georgia. You can watch along from home if you were home on a Friday night and not out having fun like I am. That's exactly what you should text them. And our chief ref is telling our riders to head up to the boards now. Madison riders to the boards. You got to get it for somebody else because I'm And our chief official, Scott Patton, giving the final instructions to our Madison riders. I'm doing my best to keep from feeding back out there. Probably need to turn a few speakers away from me. So our chief ref just told the relief riders to roll away. The relief riders, no, you didn't? You told, usually it's the relief riders. All right. Okay, we're doing it backwards tonight. The racing riders rolled away and the relief riders are at the boards. And now our relief riders are away and we are racing. So it's helpful that the riders wear matching jerseys so you can pick them out. Lachlan Holiday riding on the front. His rider's pretty far up. Daryl is going to drop down and be the first to exchange out. So we have the pair of Lachlan Holiday and John Kroom, Frank Travieso and Daryl Christopher, Valentin Todoro and Howard Buckley, and Annalise Ostrike and Aaron Young is our only mixed pair out there. And last but not least, we have, oh, sorry, I forgot about Morgan Stern. I apologize. Morgan Stern and Daniel Brewer also out there. So we've got two mixed pairs. So that's awesome to see. And Annalise, not afraid to lead it out. And gets the cheers from her younger teammates. And we are heating the pace up pretty fast here. With Lachlan Holiday followed by Valentin Todoro and Frank Travieso. Valentin about to exchange Howard in, and that is a nice and smooth exchange. Annalise puts herself into position for an exchange with Aaron. Aaron's just going to soft pedal her into that exchange. So you don't always want to go in full bore into an exchange because sometimes there's traffic ahead of you, and you definitely don't want to just sling somebody and rear end them into somebody else. So there's definitely a little nuance involved as well in the exchange. So far, we've got nice and clean exchanges. And Morgan Stern's got to speed up a little bit as Daniel comes in. I think they'll manage to do it. Daniel slows down just a little bit. So that's the thing. So your relief rider coming in to relieve you cannot be going half the speed that you are, even though they're going slower. They do have to go a little bit faster. Otherwise, you will pull them right off the bike. And Aaron drops down. The exchange. Annalise out. Nice, smooth exchange. And John Kroom and Lachlan, probably one of the more mismatched pairs you'll see in the Madison, where Lachlan probably gets shot like a rocket by John, and then John gets a nice little puff of wind to push him along. And our first sprint for points coming up. So we've managed to ride 10 laps in a very short time. And Annalise speeds up very nice. Aaron is going to throw her in the middle of a points lap. Not a bad strategy. And Daryl and Frank exchange right across the line. I don't know, can they get double points for that? Just kidding, they can't. But now Daryl and John Kroom, they want to separate themselves away from the rest of the field. And while they are establishing the gap, we also want to give a shout out to Chairs here in East Point for making it able for us to have beer served tonight here at the Dick Lane Velodrome. So we've been working for years to have alcohol served here, so we want to thank them. They're located at 2783 Main Street in East Point. Pool tables, craft beer, arcade games, burgers, tacos, and let's not forget about their brisket. Some of the best brisket in town. And our team EDA, that is Frank in the neon green jersey on the front, and Texas Roadhouse, that is Lachlan now on the front. There are your leaders. Frank makes quite the interesting track attack. He wants to attack before the exchange. It's going to force Lachlan to come into an exchange. Super hot. But Frank may be playing a little bit of strategy. Daryl's pretty fast in his own right, but he wanted to even it up for Daryl in that exchange. Give Daryl the opportunity. Hey Morgan, let's stay high, please. Stay a little bit higher on the track, please. Thank you. So we definitely want to give our riders enough room to exchange out on the track. So we definitely want to keep safety at the forefront in our Madison race, as things can get a little bit dicey. So right now, after the first sprint, we have the team of EDA. So that's Daryl Christopher and Frank Travieso. They're in the neon green jersey. They lead on points, followed by the Texas Roadhouse crew of Lachlan Holiday and John Kroom. It's a soft exchange between Daryl and Frank. Frank didn't really need much of a push there. And back in our field, we have the East Point Track Club team of Howard with Valentin, Morgan and Daniel, and Annalise and Aaron. And right in the middle of a sprint lap, John Kroom wants to draw back even on points with this one. He's going to fight it out with Daryl all the way to the line. So now we have the two teams even on points. And the team of Howard and Valentin continue to hold down third place, ahead of Morgan and Daniel. And Annalise and Aaron holding valiantly in fifth place. So now we're about to encounter an interesting scenario in points racing. In most track races, actually, this happens, but it's more prevalent in points races. When riders go down a lap, they will lose points, and they will lose 20 points. So back in the day, you used to just go up laps and down laps, but now you lose points. So, and you gain points. If you go up a lap, you gain 20 points. So it's changed the dynamic of points racing a little bit, because some folks don't have to sit there and sprint out every lap. They can strike out on attacks and go up 20, 40, 60 points very quickly. And then also the spinners have to be careful that they don't get dropped out of the field and start losing points. And Frank had a nice little gap on John Kroom. And a little bit of bumping going on there. Daryl wanted to ride up track and slow things down, but John Kroom was not giving him the space to do it. So I think partly as a result, Daryl wanted to be on John's wheel. And John was going to force Daryl to work for that wheel. And Daryl seeing the opportunity to hustle the exchange between John and Lachlan, make them speed that exchange up a little bit. And Lachlan going to do the same thing now to Daryl and Frank, speed up their exchange a little bit. Smooth exchange from them. And Frank turns on a little burst of speed on Lachlan. He wants to get that gap. Make Kroom work just a little bit harder with that gap. As we're quickly coming up on another sprint lap. So we'll see if Frank and John decide who's going to go for that sprint lap this time. So it looks like they are going to exchange in this time instead of go another lap around. John, sensing that, slows down a little bit just so he doesn't have to exchange in on the lap. He may wave Lachlan off right now. We'll see if he does. Yeah, he's going to go in for the exchange. He does it. Daryl takes advantage of that situation. We'll see if Daryl can hold Lachlan off in this sprint. Looks like no. Lachlan definitely exchanging in was the right call on that one. But now Lachlan has to go around some extra distance. Frank could take advantage of this. Lachlan just did a hard sprint. Frank could decide to attack in the time it takes him to get back around to John. Looks like he's content to just sit in. Like I said, the Madison is tactical like a points race. These guys have to do math in their head while they're going super fast and hard. So we're definitely getting down to crunch time in these last few laps of the race with 8 laps to go. We are going to have double points on offer for this last sprint. So they've been sprinting for 5, 3, 2, and 1 for first, second, third, and fourth all race. Now we're going to double that points output to 10, 6, 4, and 2. So right now, Texas Roadhouse of Lachlan and John are on 13 points, and EDA of Daryl and Frank are on 11 points. So this last sprint is going to be very important to the outcome of this race with the double points on offer. And so now we're getting down to the cat and mouse. The two teams have beat each other up enough. They might just be content to roll it around until the last few laps and see what happens. Frank getting a little anxious for the exchange back there. No worries there. Lachlan and John, soft touch exchange. Just a little handsy. Same for Frank and Daryl. There is a pretty hot battle for third place going on with the East Point Track Club. Only 1 point separating them from the pink team of Morgan and Daniel. Now the riders do not have to exchange every time they pass, as we saw right there. Daniel decided not to exchange with Morgan that time because he wants to get that advantage and get those points on Valentin and Howard. And seeing if he can extend that advantage. Meanwhile, we're going to see 2 laps to go for our leaders here as Daryl and Frank exchange in. And Daryl doesn't quite have the snap that he had earlier in the race. He's going to have to dig deep somewhere in that Home Depot bucket of speed. Daryl's going to try to stay with John. They're going to go high around all these exchanges. Daryl just can't keep the pace. And John, he's going to keep the speed on because you never know with Daryl. But John is going to be content to bring it home. And he knows he has the win. He salutes the crowd We're going to give them a cheer. And you're finished. Howard, you're finished. No sprint. Howard, race is off. Race is over. So, yeah, the reason for the confusion there is when the riders get caught inside the last lap, everybody finishes on the last lap. That can be a little confusing for some riders who think they still have one lap to go. Good job to John and Lachlan. Also, good job to Daryl. Let's cheer on Daryl for second place there. Give the crowd a wave, Daryl. There we are. Good job. All right, and we do have our Youth Cycling League races up again next, but we're going to give Aaron just a quick couple of minutes to catch his breath before we bring Aaron back up here so that he can commentate on all his riders. We want to continue to thank all of the folks for making this event happen tonight. Again, the Atlanta Airport District trying to bring quality entertainment to the East Point, College Park, and Hapeville areas. So we're really happy for the Atlanta Airport District helping provide all the support to make this happen, as well as the muscle from the East Point Track Club, the creative geniuses at Ethic Works. You need a website redesign, marketing, advertising, any of that good stuff. Youth Cycling League, you can take the track and warm up. Youth Cycling League can warm up on the track. All right, so joining me up in the judges stand right now, we're going to have a little moment. Alloway from City Council of East Point. So, Thomas, is the Velodrome in your district that you represent, or you're in at large position?
Actually, the Velodrome is just on the other side of my district, but I love what goes on here, so I figured I'd cross the line and come on over and visit with everyone.
So, when did you first become aware of what was happening here at the Velodrome and what we do here?
The first time I did it was I was visiting friends over here. I just moved here, and I was walking right over there, and I was like, what is that thing? Do they race go-karts over there or something? And then they told me what it was, and I was like, that's super cool. And it's, the only velodrome in the state of Georgia, 1 in 17, I believe, in the United States. So it's something that is really, really unique that we are able to offer and to bring people from outside of our city into our wonderful city. So we're so excited that it's here.
So how did they explain what happens here? Did they be like, it's like NASCAR, but for hipsters? Is that how they explain what happens here?
Well, this was about 11, 12 years ago, so I'm not even sure the term hipster was really mainstream yet. But they said, no, it's crazy. These people get on these bikes and they like zip around this thing at like 35, 40 miles an hour, and there's no brakes on the bike, and they were telling me all about it. And then another day we came by and we ended up seeing them, and so we stopped and watched them. And then, of course, you know, the races that you guys do here throughout the year. Wonderful event, and then culminating with Spin the District. Started last year, and then this year, I mean, it's just growing phenomenally. So thank everybody for being here this evening.
So the Dick Lane Velodrome is named after the eponymous Richard Dick Lane, who was a sports and rec director, and I think he was a councilman, maybe even some other positions with the city of East Point for many years. And he was inspired by the Munich Olympics to build this track. And so here we are 40 plus years later. Like, what does this still mean to East Point, and like how East Point supports the Velodrome and how the Velodrome supports East Point?
Well, like I said, it's something that is unique. East Point is certainly a unique place. As our mayor says, there's no point like the East Point. And bringing one thing that it really does that I think is great is it brings people who otherwise might not visit our city into our city. And as many people have noticed over the last 2, 3, 4 years, our city, we really are experiencing a revitalization and a renaissance. One thing I'd like to point out, folks who came tonight may have noticed all the orange cones, street portion there. That's actually us breaking ground on our very first mile of 25 miles of bike paths in the city of East Point that will connect up to the West Side Beltline. So we are committed to making our city walkable and bikeable. We're not just talking about it, we're being about it.
Well, I'm actually really glad you told me about that, because when I was director here a few years ago, I know that we were trying to make that happen. I wasn't sure what the status was. So I'm actually super pleased to hear you say that right now. Like, genuinely, that's so awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much, and thank everybody for being here tonight, sharing this with us, and thank the DMO for bringing Spin the District and bringing all of you here this evening, and of course all the riders who are here tonight and here often. We appreciate them being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas, and thank you for your continued support of the Dick Lane Velodrome. And thank you, everybody else, for coming out tonight. We still have a few more races to go here. We're going to bring Aaron Young back up now. He's had a chance to catch his breath from that exciting Madison, and we'll have him continue to announce our Youth Cycling League races. So let's get our Youth Cycling League B riders up to the boards. YCL B riders to the boards, please. A riders, if you would clear the track. Our A riders, please clear the track. I can't hear anything up here. Sorry, guys. You want them to roll or all of them? Okay, all of them. Never mind, guys. A's, B's, C's. We're going with the full group here. Oh, excellent. That's why we're having them all together. Okay, everybody to the boards here, including A riders. Let's get all our Youth Cycling League riders up to the boards. And we are going to do an elimination race. This is an excellent race, which you will see in pro form very shortly as well. So women, please be ready for your race immediately after this. Women, please make sure your shoes, helmets, and gloves are on so we can get you up on track directly after this.
All right, folks, give our Youth Cycling League riders a big round of applause as they make their way back up to the rail. All right, riders, we are going to do an elimination race. The last wheel across the line every lap will be eliminated. I will call your name as we roll through. There are 12 of you, so there will be 12 laps. We are going to do a full neutral lap. You're all together in turn 4. We'll ring the bell, and we will be pulling riders on the next lap, pulling down every single rider. Have any questions from the riders out there? Your riders ready? Full neutral lap. Roll off. Big round of applause, folks. This is our last Youth Cycling race of the evening. You got to have all riders on the track. Slow down, Keytray, slow down. All right, so they're on their neutral laps. This is an elimination race, so every single lap, we're going to be pulling one rider out all the way down to the last rider. Expect to see some tight maneuvering out there as they jockey for position. Some of our younger, smaller riders are really good at this race because they can fit into the holes. And we're racing. We're pulling on the next lap. Pulling on the next lap. Pulling on the next lap. Let's make some noise for these riders out there. Right now we got Montavious and Ewan fighting for that last spot. They're spread 4 wide across the track. They got to find some space to move through. Right now Montavious looks high as he goes up to the rail. I don't know if he's going to have enough space to move up. He's starting to string out here. Ewan moves up into the field. Looks like we have an early rider self-selecting. Make some noise. He might get up there. He might get there. And he does. Charlie, you are eliminated. What Montavious is doing is called playing the devil. That's some locations. This race is called Devil Take the Hindmost, and that's the rider sitting on the back trying to eliminate the riders in front of him. Looks like Montavious is picking the riders that he's trying to eliminate now. Make some noise for him as he comes through again. He starts picking them off. Looks like he moves up again. We got Ewan up top, Montavious on the bottom. But Montavious is off the track, so it's going to be Montavious this lap. Montavious is eliminated. We're down to Ewan and Madison on the back, looking for position. Little Isaac down low, not willing to give up that spot in the lane. He knows what he's doing. Now we got Ewan playing the devil out there. He's looking ahead at Isaac and Madison. He's wondering where he can get through. Isaac tries to squeeze through a gap that doesn't exist. He opens up the lane. Ewan going to go under or go up and over. He's got to make a decision soon. Madison's going to go into that center gap, and Ewan has to find some room to move through. Is he going to make it? He's giving it everything. That's going to be Ewan. Big round of applause for Ewan, finishing strong. We got Isaac down there on the 24-inch bike. If you look, his tires are 3 times the size of all the other riders. He's also on a significantly smaller gear than them, and he's out there showing them what's what. Let's give a big round of applause for him as he comes through. He's playing the devil now, and he takes that lane from Madison. He looks like he's going to pop off another rider. Madison's willing to fight for it, though. She's going hard. Let's make some noise for these riders. It's going to be close. It's going to be Isaac eliminated. So Madison goes through, lives to fight another day. One of our newest riders out there. She picked up this sport real quick. Keep your eyes peeled for her in the future. Madison starts to find that gap to move through. Keytray's holding the lane nice and tight. They're split 4 wide at the front. Not a lot of room to move through. It's going to be tough for these riders at the back when there's no place to go. We got Joseph at the top of the rail trying to move through. Oh, we got a rider down back there. No elimination. Madison, you're still in. Keep going. Keep going, Madison. Make some noise for her. She's giving it everything she has. Let's go, Madison. Let's go, Madison. Get up there. Got the riders starting to cat and mouse up high. Stay high, riders. Stay high. We got a rider down, but it looks like he's okay. And it's going to be Madison on this lap. Madison is eliminated. Now we are down to 5 riders. These are all of our A riders duking it out here. 2 wide at the front, 3 wide at the back. Let's see if Will can find some room to move through. Currently, he's got Audrey in the front of him. Now it looks like Ray is getting pinched. Phillips taking the lane, moves high, gives up the lane for Rhea. She goes under. That's some smart racing right there. Joseph up top. Will got floated to the back. Can he find a gap? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it through, and it's Will. Hands on the handlebars, Will. And then there were 4. When we pull. Yep. And we got these 4 riders duking it out. Rhea down in the lane on the back. Joseph flowing through the middle. Audrey up top. Is Rhea going to find a gap to roll through? Is somebody going to give the lane open? Oh, no! She gets cut off real hard. And that's going to be Rhea's race. Give her a big round of applause. They're going to hear the bell next time coming through. We're going to pull one more rider. There's going to be 2. Let's make some noise for these riders as they come in their last lap. They're looking 3 wide, looking over their shoulders at each other. Who's going to go first? We got Philip in the lane. Joseph second wheel. Audrey up top. Audrey with the experience. Joseph with the speed. And it looks like it's going to be between Audrey and Joseph. Philip is eliminated. Let's make some noise for these riders. It's youthfulness versus experience. Looks like Audrey's not wanting to take it up to speed too quick. She starts rolling to the front. Joseph not giving up the lane yet, and there he goes. He kicks. Audrey takes the lane. He's going. Is he going to take the run and come out of it on turn 4? Let's make some noise for these riders, folks. It's going to be close. And there they go. It's going to be all the way to the line. And it's going to be Joseph taking the win from our national medalist. Let's give all these Youth Cycling League riders a big round of applause, folks.
Way to go, everybody. And also give Aaron a round of applause. Excellent announcing skills up here this evening. He is a man of many talents.
Please remember, if you have kids, bring them out to our program. It's free. It goes from the beginning of March all the way through mid-October. It's a very long program. We provide everything. Just come sign a waiver. A lot of our younger elite athletes come up through the program. We've produced national champions in almost every age group and at the elite level. Bring them out. We have fun.
Including Tour de France riders. Joey Roscoff rode the Tour de France this year, Tour de France. And it was our first Youth Cycling League graduate to do so. And we also have 3 riders racing in the World Championships this year who have also gone through our Youth Cycling League ranks. So it's definitely a great program to get your kid involved in. Again, it runs from mid-March to mid-October. Mondays and Thursdays, 5:30 for the beginners, 6:30 for advanced riders. And now let's get our women up to the boards. Let's get our ladies back to the boards so that we can do a similar race to what you just saw for the Youth Cycling League. We are going to do a miss in out for our women right now. That is very similar to the elimination that you saw, but with one twist, is that when we get down to the final 3 riders, we have what's called a free lap, not a neutral lap, but a free lap. And then the top 3 will sprint it out for the podium places. That's just one little twist on the elimination race that you just saw. Otherwise, all the same principles still hold. You can play the tactic from the front or from the back, from the top, from the bottom. The missing out is perhaps one of the hardest races to ride. And we have our missing out underway. And these start the last few races of our program tonight. So we want everybody to cheer their loudest. All right, we'll talk about results as they stand through the evening. But once again, we want to talk and thank our sponsors. We want to continue to thank our sponsor of chairs. They're upstairs in the Old Corner Tavern spot at 2783 Main Street. And we're racing now. Elimination on the next lap. Elimination on the next lap. So the after party is going to be after the race tonight at Chairs. So when we wrap up here around 10 p.m., everybody head on over to the corner there on Main Street to Chairs. We'll play some pool. We'll have some nice adult beverages, play some games, and eat some great food. So who's going to be our first elimination here? It's going to be number 50, Jennifer. Number 50, Jennifer. Yeah, this is a really hard race to get a handle on here. So some riders choose to ride up top, near the top of the boards in what's called the devil's position, because they can swoop down off of the banking over the top of bottom riders there. Number 99. Number 99. 99, that was Julia Nichols. And 84, Maria. 84, Maria. So how long does a missing out last, you might ask? It all depends on how many riders are out there in the field. We started out with 12 riders here in our women's field, and we go down to 3 riders. So they are racing 9 laps before the free lap and the sprint lap. 34, Sophie. 34, Sophie. Sophie tried to come over the top with a last-minute sprint. She had a little gap there, but she couldn't quite make up the distance in time. Jenna Davis hurting a little bit at the back behind Julia Graham. So these are going to be one of the 2 riders potentially to watch for being eliminated this lap. And number 6, Julia. Number 6, Julia. Jenna Davis doing a great job pulling herself right back into the race right then. She looked like she was struggling for just a second. She gave the proverbial shut up legs and pulled herself right back into the race. There are no bootstraps, so maybe she tightened her boas. And 47, Jenna, I jinxed her. Talk too much about a rider, and they will do the exact opposite of what you expect them to do. That's how announcer luck goes. Looks like we have Amelia Hicks. She's trying to make sure her position over the top is safe. Annalise Ostreich also moving up. So we're going to have a tight squeeze on the back of the field here. I think Amelia is going to get squeezed out there. Yes, number 26, Amelia. That was a tight spot she was in. She anticipated it happening, but sometimes you just can't stop it. Annalise now taking up the devil's position. And looks like she's going to squeeze Madeline in there at the back. Oh, but Madeline, 96. Madeline definitely got slown by a tire's width there. And we're going to eliminate our last rider this lap and give the bell. So who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Going to be number 5, MK, number 5. Also known as Mary Wentz. Mary came up and told me Mary is my grandmother's name. Please don't call me that. So MK, she'll be known the rest of the evening. So this is their free lap where the riders adjust their position, plan their tactics for the last lap here. Looks like it's going to be a 3-up sprint here. That's the bell. That's the bell. We can't hardly hear it, but that is the bell inside the fire extinguisher. We have Annalise, Ostrike, Morgan, and Madeline. And Annalise takes off with Morgan Stern hot on her heels. Is this going to be Morgan's first win of the night? Morgan's coming on hot. Annalise may have done too much work. Can she hold off Morgan down the stretch? Oh, Annalise. That was a great sprint right there. And Madeline, give a round of applause to her third place. Good job, Madeline. And good job to all our racers there in the missing out. That was a hot, fast race. We'll get our overall standings going in just a second here. Right now, we're going to take a few minutes to get those in. If you are curious about the results, you can go to the DickLaneVelodrome.com and click on results, and you can see the results yourself in real time. So when in doubt, if it doesn't look right, hit refresh. Usually we'll fix it up. Also, right in front of the judges stand here on the chalkboard, we have results as well. So as soon as we get our missing out results from our women's race updated, we will get the current Omnium total. I'm fairly confident that Annalise Ostrike is in first, and yes, she is. Annalise Ostrike is currently leading your Omnium with Morgan Stern in second. Only 2 points separate Annalise and Morgan at this point. So Madeline Pierce holding down third with 106. MK in fourth with 94 points. Sloan in fifth place with 92 points. That is your top 5 in the women's Omnium right now. In the men's Omnium, before the missing out, we have John Kroom on 78 points, Frank Travieso on 68 points, Lachlan Holiday 66, tied with Aaron Young on 66, and Daniel Brewer rounds out your top 5 with 58 points. So our men's racing definitely has John Kroom on top with a good margin, ahead of Frank Travieso, and the rest of our placings are really tightly spaced right now, so our top 5 could change dramatically throughout the evening here. All right, let's call our men up to the boards for their missing out. Men to the boards for their missing out. All right, if you're in the top 5 that just... All right, we're going to have a call for holders right now. If you are able to hold a rider, I believe we are going to hold our top 5 riders so they can be acknowledged. All right, top 5, John Kroom, Frank Travieso, Aaron Young, Daniel Brewer, and Lachlan Holiday. If you're in the top 5, please come down track. And that was your top 5 at the track bottom there. Getting pushed off by their holders. Starting with a fairly quick neutral lap. These riders definitely want to get things cooking off here. And there's the whistle. Racing is on. Racing is on. Elimination next lap. And definitely got a few riders at the back here. The missing out is definitely an event where the riders will use the full track from top to bottom. So you definitely feel how narrow the Dick Lane Velodrome is. 88, Willem. And some riders really don't like the missing out. So they voluntarily withdraw themselves. 45, Reese. 45, Reese. And 15, Howard. I think Howard voluntarily pulled himself there. It's always fun when a rider voluntarily pulls themselves and you're fighting at the back to be the last person. You're always like, I wasted that effort for what? Jacob Holt on the back, switching up and down, can't find the place to go into. 71, Jacob Holt. I think his indecision is what took him out on that lap. He certainly looked fast enough to stay in. Some of our more experienced track riders have a harder time with this race, even if they are in the A level. And 97, Kent. 97, Kent. So now we're starting to thin out a little bit. Still quite a few riders playing the devil. 22, Sam. 22, Sam. Sam right out. Looks like Frank lost his chain. We're going to have no elimination on this lap. No elimination on this lap. And that's what happens when you lose a chain. You just got to coast it out. No elimination. No elimination. Sometimes you just put a little too much power down and snap the chain at the wrong moment. And we are eliminating on this lap. So who's it going to be on this lap? And 8, Valentin. 8, Valentin. He knew he was out at the bottom. So sometimes you know when you're boxed in. So now you're seeing tactics towards the front. The rider in second place down at the bottom. That seems like a safe spot, but now that we've got a smaller group, riders can flow over the top, and you can find yourself at the back in a hurry. 83, Lemin. 83, Lemin. That's a good effort from Lemin to hang in that long. Definitely showing some promise in the future as a race he can excel at. And Daniel Brewer launches a little bit of a move, more so to improve his positioning than an outright attack. And there you go. 123, 1, 2, 3. That's Trey Hedgecock, 123. Yeah, there's a couple of tactics, both equally difficult. You can play the devil or you can lead it out, which Daniel Brewer is now doing. 80. 8-0. That is Colin. 8-0, Colin. And as you can see, even though the field's thinning out, the racing is as tight as ever. The riders bumping and moving around. They do not want to be the last one out, using the full width of the track. 90, Daryl, 90, Daryl. And Reese Latham surviving a little bumpy on that last one. He's down at the bottom this lap. 61, Reese, 61. So he survived the previous lap to be out of position on that lap, but that's a great effort from another young up-and-coming rider already riding in the elite category here. 6 riders left, 3 more eliminations. '53, Richard, 53, Richard. So, and just because there are fewer riders left doesn't mean the call gets any easier. If anything, it gets a little bit harder. And Lachlan, realizing he's at the back, leaves Dylan Cantrell, number 14. Dylan Cantrell leaves him out. He knew he couldn't match the sprint. One sprint too many here in the missing out. And Dylan gets inside the top 5. This is going to be our final elimination before our 3-up sprint. 78, Lachlan, 78. Lachlan had the momentum. He was just a little late in crossing the line. So we've got Aaron Young, Daniel Brewer, and John Kroom, all your final 3 riders, and they're going to get the bell this time around. Let's make some noise, everybody, for this sprint lap. And John Kroom leading it out. Daniel Brewer trying to stay on his wheel. Aaron says, I'm good with 3rd place. I'm fine with that. And let's see if Daniel Brewer can come around John, come out of this last corner. John hasn't even turned the speed on yet. And I think he keeps Daniel at a comfortable pace. So clock another one up onto the board for Mr. John Kroom. And thank you, Aaron. Nice 3rd place finish there. So we'll give Daniel and John a round of applause as they come around this time. All right, once we clear the track of the men, we will call our women up to the boards. Once we clear the track, so women keep doing a couple more laps around the warm-up track, and we'll get you out there in just a second. We are going to have a 40-lap points race. Coming up now for our women. Okay, women, let's go ahead and come out up to the boards. Women to the boards, please. This being the last race of the evening, it's come to my attention that there is somebody out there on the track right now having a birthday. Is it you, MK? Yes, it is. It's MK's birthday. I don't know if we should sing her happy birthday while she's on the boards right now. What do you all think? Do we have time, Chief Ref? Okay, all right. Everybody together now. Let's sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear MK. Happy birthday to you. All right, sorry I put all of you through my singing voice. I will pay for any hearing damages. So we are rolling out neutral for our 40-lap points race. So the points race sprints every 10 laps. And now we take our Omnium points and we add the points earned in the points race to our Omnium points. This is how the International Omnium works. So there are sprints every 10 laps with double points on the last lap. And rather than getting 40 points for winning the points race specifically, these points go towards the Omnium total. So this is a very important race that could determine the outcome of the evening. So even though Annalise is in the lead right now in the Omnium, if she had a bad points race, this could set her back. So maybe I should explain this for those following along at home. So let's say a rider right now has 100 points in the Omnium, and during this points race, they score 32 points during the points race. Their final Omnium total becomes 132. They don't get any points for winning necessarily. They just earn the points that they win during the race itself. So I got that question through the Twitters. So felt like I had to answer it. This is the new format that the International Cycling Union instituted into track racing a couple of years ago, so that it would balance out the endurance riders versus the more short race, sprint-oriented riders to give everybody a fighting chance. Now, consequently, the points race rules still apply, so you could lose 20 points in theory, and that would certainly hurt your Omnium positioning. So it looks like we have some Piedmont College riders that want to get things started off here, up in the pace. Their coach Jamie standing on the side of the track saying, don't ride there, don't ride the blue line, ride at the spinner's lane. It's a shorter distance around. It's certainly the smoother line, or one of the smoother lines out here at the DLV. As you ride into turn 4, you have to roll the black line just so you don't get launched off your saddle. After 40 plus years, the concrete settles a little bit here. And other neat trivia facts, so that if a Dick Lane Velodrome question ever comes up in your Trivial Pursuit box, it is 4 feet lower in turns 3 and 4 than it is in turns 1 and 2. So if you were to do 100 laps on the Velodrome here, you would have an elevation gain of 400 feet, which is not too shabby for something that is supposed to be perfectly flat. Also, the only track in the world that has a tree growing in the middle of it. And we want to dispel the misinformation, the fake news that you will, that the tree is an oak tree. It is not an oak tree. It is a sweet gum tree. All right, we have a sprint lap coming up next lap. And got quite a few riders who want to be the first to open their accounts at the bank of the points race. So they get the bell. Let's see who's it going to be. Yeah, so 96, Sloan Fletcher. Sloan decides she's going to try and go for the points with Amelia Hicks on her wheel. And 84, Maria Giusti. But we've got Morgan Stern and, of course, Annalise Ostrike finds her way through traffic. So she's going to take the first 5 points. And Morgan Stern, followed by Sloan, and then MK, round out your first points getters of our women's points race. So Annalise, Morgan, Sloan, and MK points on that lap. And Jenna, she can get back in after that sprint. Sometimes the sprint laps can be a little fast, but she managed to get back into the field there. And Sophie is still trying. Sophie, one of the hardest working riders out there I've ever seen. She will not give up, that's for sure. She will keep riding, and I have confidence that she will get close to catch back on. Our riders sizing each other up right now, trying to determine next moves. Annalise wants to keep the pace a little bit higher than they were currently going. That discourages attacks a little bit, especially as you draw on through the evening and riders start to feel the fatigue of the night. All right, everybody, let's make some noise for Sophie. Let's encourage her to get back on. Come on, Sophie, you can do it. Yeah. All right, good work, Sophie. Come on, they're just right there. 1/4 of a lap ahead of you. And we still have 5 more laps till a sprint lap. So if they keep riding this pace, Sophie's sure to get back on. Hopefully she gets back on with a chance to catch her breath before that sprint lap, because that is the absolute worst. You've worked hard to catch back up. They're right there. Come on, Sophie, get back up there. Get back up there. And she made it. Good job, Sophie. Woo! All right, she needs to catch her breath before the sprint lap. And right on cue, everybody ups the pace a little bit. Sophie rides smart, surfs the wheels. That infusion of pace is creating a little bit of difficulty for some of our other riders. That was just too much. Sophie caught right back on right as they decided to speed up. Yeah, sometimes you can go hard to catch back up and then blow yourself up, and that's what's going on right now. We definitely have some cat and mouse on the front. I would say Annalise and Morgan definitely watching each other closely. Madeline Pierce still in with a shot too at taking a victory tonight. Yeah, so 2 points again separating Annalise from Morgan. And Madeline just 10 points behind Morgan. And MK in fourth with 94 points. Sloan in fifth with 92 points. All of our top five still in the field here right now. And 2 laps before the next sprint. Jennifer Schubel, number 50, on the front right now, taking a pull. And Sloan Fletcher behind her now setting the pace. Another rider we haven't mentioned in a few laps, Amelia Hicks, sitting right in fifth wheel. We're a sprint lap, fifth wheel, not a bad place to be. Of course, we'll see what happens between Morgan and Annalise here. Morgan not quite putting a full effort into the lead out yet, as Madeline Pierce, she might be the surprise of this lap with the points. Although Annalise is forcing her to take the long line around. And Annalise, followed by MK, and we'll have to go to the video for third and fourth. Yeah, so that was Annalise, followed by MK, followed by Madeline, followed by Morgan. So currently, Annalise adds 10 points to her Omnium total. So she sits on 128. Morgan only has 4 points, so she's sitting on 120 right now. So Annalise has opened her gap to Morgan. MK moves up 4 points on 98, and Madeline Pierce has 2 points. So that brings her total up to 108 points. So MK very well could pull herself into that third place podium position. And we still have a strong field together. Our lapped riders managing to get back into the field after going down a lap. Annalise Ostrike keeping the pace high, as they will see 15 to go next time around. And now we have Madeline Pierce on the front, setting the pace right off the stairs line. So Annalise needs to continue to roll up her points here to keep her lead secure. Morgan is losing a little bit of ground, however, so I think Annalise is overall pretty safe in her position. Annalise could sit in second and third place points getting positions for the rest of the race and manage okay at the end of the day. But she's still staying glued to Morgan's wheel like a hawk. She's not letting Morgan go anywhere in the field without her. And Sophie Zentz continues to not understand the word quit. She's staying in there. She's going to get back in there once again. Almost. Oh, so close. As Jennifer Schubel launches a textbook little move from the back of the field. She's sitting at the back of the field as the field was high up on the banking of the track. She dropped down, used the banking of the track to help her get up to speed. That's definitely a pro move as far as moves go. And she strings out the field accordingly. I think she realizes everybody is there on her wheel, but she doesn't really care. Looks over her shoulder, lets Sloan take up the duties there. But Sloan just pulls up track and everybody else follows her around. Madeline Pierce and Amelia Hicks use the opportunity to improve their position. As the bottom of the track opened up, a nice little passing lane. That would be considered an underpass, I think. As we have a sprint lap now, Madeline puts herself on the front with Amelia on her wheel for the sprint lap. All our riders will safely navigate around our lapped rider. And Annalise is definitely going to leave nothing up to chance. She's going to sprint this one all the way to the line. So that was Annalise, followed by Morgan. And then Madeline and MK. So now Annalise is on 133 points. Morgan Stern is on 123 points. And Madeline Pierce is on 110 points. And MK is on 99 points. So those are your standings at the top of our leaderboard right now. And our field's still together. Nobody quite taking the chance to launch any attacks. At least any attacks that would separate them from the field. We've seen quite a few testing little attacks, probing attacks as you may. Just to see who still has legs this deep into the evening. I think a few riders would like to attack if they could. Oh, Morgan Stern launches a little move, draws out Annalise Ostrike. I don't know if the other riders can respond. That looks like a nice little gap. Amelia Hicks is trying to close that gap down right now. But she's going to need some help with that. And Sloan Fletcher does not want to be left behind. So she is doing the yeoman's work of bringing back Morgan and Annalise. There's still a little gap there. Looks like MK is going to put in the last finishing touches there to bring Annalise and Morgan back. Oh, sorry, Maria, not MK, Maria. From a distance, the light blue and purple of their jerseys blends together a little bit. And 4 to go, it looks like. We're going to go into cat and mouse mode now. And Amelia and Jenna trying to catch back up to the field there. Amelia may have burned a match there, trying to close down that attack by herself. And her teammate Jenna jumps around her, offers her wheel up. Come on, Amelia, you can do this. Jenna playing the consummate teammate, looking back over her shoulder, seeing if Amelia's still there. The field is right there. You can get back on, Amelia. You can do it. So 2 to go. We'll see if anybody takes a gambler flyer into the last lap. Anybody willing to take the chance? No, looks like we are going to go into the last lap all together into the final sprint. And we're going to pull any lapped riders off the fields, off the track rather, so they are not an impediment to the final sprint. And she catches back in, but she isn't afraid to go again. Jenna Davis launching out with the bell. Madeline Pierce right behind her. Annalise Ostrike once again opening her sprint up pretty far out. And Annalise Ostrike is going to make it a clean sweep, winning all the sprints ahead of MK and Madeline. So that was a dominant performance from Annalise to unofficially win the Omnium. Good job, Morgan. Let's give all our riders a round of applause here as they come back by. And Annalise, give a wave to the crowd. Annalise, give a wave. There we go. Good job, Annalise, tonight. As well as all our other riders out there. We'll go ahead and call our men up to the boards. As we call our men up to the boards, currently in your Omnium, we have John Kroom leading with 118 points. Aaron Young has moved himself up into second on 102. Lachlan Holiday on 100. Daniel Brewer with 96. And Frank Travieso rounds out your top 5 with 84 points. Knocking on the door of top 5 is Richard Keller, honorable mention in 6th place. You know I'm only doing that because you're from Murfreesboro. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, so apparently we have another birthday, not today, but at midnight. So basically, you're going to the after party where you turn 21. Mr. Sam Rideout. Are we going to sing for him as well? I think we should. You know what? I think we need to cue up an actual happy birthday song now. Maybe do we have time? Because you guys don't want to hear my voice again. That's for certain. All right, here we go with Mr. Paul McCartney. Oh, even better. Yeah. Yeah. Have you even heard that song in your life there, Sam? Just making sure. All right. All right, and we're rolling on our neutral lap for our final race of the evening. Our men's 60 lap points race. So same applies, the points count towards the Omnium. Richard Keller getting a little frisky, froggy, anxious to start this points race. He's going for those neutral lap points. There he goes. Now he's back in the field and the racing started. Richard managed to lose all of his momentum right when the whistle was blown. All right, Frank Travieso having a mechanical in the missing out really hurt his Omnium position. We would normally expect him to be up close there with John Kroom. But losing his chain in the last race definitely put a dent in that plan. And it looks like our riders, Dale Christopher, going to start off a little attack. Our first few laps, looks like our riders were chatting. Talking to Lachlan Holiday. Hey, mate, where's the after party? You going? What's that? I can't hear you. You'll have to come up here and tell me that. Fun times hanging out in the dorm on a Friday night is the word. So I don't know why he's going to be in the breakaway then. That just means he's going to get back to that dorm a whole lot faster. Although he's got a pretty good break made in Willem Kaiser. Willem Kaiser is the points race breakaway champion. I don't think Willem's met a points race or a breakaway that he didn't like. And Dale Christopher, the initial antagonist of that little move. And Willem Kaiser there putting in a nice acceleration right off the front of the field. Not always the best way to telegraph your intentions, but if the guy behind you goes, yeah, I don't want to pedal that fast. And that's certainly a way for you to get away. Willem known more for his road race performances, but that's what makes him so dangerous in the points race. Willem has multiple podiums in road race national championships, including several top 10s in some of the hardest one-day races in North America. So before you know it, Willem is close to being a half lap up. And other riders sense that danger. So Willem has 3 more laps to hold on for the first point sprint. So if this next group can get up to him, that would be a nice little breakaway group for him to be in. Jacob Holt, Richard Keller, and Reese Latham was in there. I think Reese decided against it, deciding it might be a little too early to go into that move, especially without any of the heavy hitters yet in that move. But it looks like Jacob and Richard, looks like their pace has stagnated a little in catching Willem. Willem is now on the top end of catching up to the field. He is now closer to the field than they are to him. So let's see. Dylan Cantrell going up to the front, putting an infusion of pace into the field. That definitely brings Willem back a little bit. But Willem may run into lap traffic here. So we'll see. These riders want the points up for grabs. There's only 1 point left back in the field here if Richard and Jacob stay off the front for this. John Kroom may decide to roll him up with Aaron Young right on his wheel. So Willem is going to get these first points here. Well, let's see if Jacob and Richard hold on for second and third here. And that'll give Kroom 1 point towards his Omnium total. Willem Kaiser right now off the front. He is unimportant to the Omnium chase right now, and these other riders know that. It's another reason for letting him go off the front is he can technically win this points race, and it'll move him up substantially in the standings, but he's no danger of the top 5 riders. So that's why the riders are still back in the field here, letting him go. It's a long, hard ride here ahead of Willem. Got another 47 laps to go. Yeah, Howard can jump on Willem's wheel, but Willem cannot sit on Howard's wheel. And Howard kind of pulls up on Willem at the last minute. Sends Willem a little high, makes him go a little bit further distance on the track. Always a little frustrating to the rider when you have to do that. So Willem once again back closer to the field than the field is to him. But just barely. Willem can just push into the tail end of some of these riders that are getting gapped off. He may just make this. The field slows down just a little bit more. He can put in another effort knowing that he can recover. Trey Hedgecock on the front. No, sorry, Colin Delakia on the front. Followed by Sam Rideout, your birthday boy, in 2 hours. And Willem is now on the same straight as the field. They are leaving the straight as he is entering it. And Dylan Cantrell, not really a move so much as keeping the pace high. This is danger bells are going to be rolling now. Frank Travieso, boom. He hits the front, and I think this is going to hurt Willem's effort to catch on to the field. He can look across the track now and see Frank blitzing off the front. And you know his heart is just sinking right now. Meanwhile, gaps are opening up in the field. This pace has just caused the Death Star to explode. There's shrapnel all over the track now. Willem's still your leader, but Frank is charging hard, as well as John Kroom, Daniel Brewer, and Richard Keller. Richard Keller struggling with that pace a little bit. Richard's more used to shorter events. The big man is riding really well tonight, the Jolly Green Giant. Riding well in the endurance events tonight. Frank had a nice turn of speed off the front, but looks like he's slowing down just a little bit now. Or Daniel and John are just going that much faster. Willem is going to hang on for one more point sprint. Most likely, as Willem starts to catch some lap riders. Willem has the hope that Frank can hurry up and catch him, and then the two of them can work together and possibly hold off the three chasers in Daniel Brewer, Lachlan Holiday, and John Kroom. Willem gets those points with 40 laps to go. We're not even halfway through this race right now, and the struggle is real. So this group right behind Willem right now, Willem is your leader on the track going into turn 2 right now. Those riders are lapped riders. Frank Travieso gets just close enough, but sits up as the group comes through. So Willem is your leader right here going into turn 3. Your next leaders on the track are this group of 4 now going into turn 3. Willem can get no help at all from this group right here because this group is not officially lapped by the field. They have to be officially lapped before Willem can sit on their wheel and pull. Ken Bostic, your former Olympian sitting on Willem's wheel, he knows that very well. He's an experienced pro track racer. And Willem just continues to pedal one foot around the other. His pace has stayed consistent ever since he first took off. But now the field has him back in the same straight. So the tables have turned just a little bit. Frank took a few seconds to recover. Frank Travieso now setting out of the field again. And John Kroom, not letting him get very far, decided that was too much effort to chase him down last time. So we're going to keep all the top 5 nice and close. And Lachlan Holiday on the front, followed by his teammate Dylan Cantrell. Dylan's been pretty quiet tonight, but we could see him in this points race move up a few positions as well. So right now, about to cross the finish line in the SCAD jersey is your leader, Willem Kaiser, both leader on the track and in the points so far. The riders in front of him and immediately behind him are riders that are dropped from the field or are about to be down a lap by the field. So this is your field right here. Dylan Cantrell swinging off the front. And Willem Kaiser continuing to catch more riders. He still cannot work with any of them. They can sit on his wheel, but he cannot use them for a draft since they are not officially down yet. They have to be down by the field before they can be down a lap, and then Willem can work with them. This is quite the performance from Willem tonight. He went super early. And it keeps being almost like a tug of war between himself and the field. When he has 15 guys chasing him down and it's just him against the field, he's going to pull up another batch of points on this next lap. And the field is going to string out again on him as they sprint for the remaining points that are on the track. All right, so Daniel Brewer, John Kroom, and Lachlan Holiday sprinting for the remaining points. Look like Daniel Brewer may have gotten it on that lap. We'll see if anybody's going to attack through the sprint. We'll see if they keep rolling it up. Willem still at about a half a lap. He's at a half a lap on the 3 leaders off the front of the field. So he's got the field in his sights, but he's just about a half lap in front of the 3 chasers. And this field, I think, is going to finally disintegrate as Frank takes off, and Dylan Cantrell catches up to Frank as they chase down the 3 chasers behind, and the field is going to have to organize itself again. The field keeps getting smaller and smaller each and every time somebody makes a move. All right, and we are just below the halfway point now. And Willem continues to roll up lapped riders like bad habits. This is an amazing performance, Herculean effort, you might say, from Willem. He's been out in front by himself for 30 laps now. He attacked pretty close to the start of the race and hasn't looked back since. And not only that, but lapped riders are even struggling to stay on his wheel now at this point. We'll see, he's got 5 laps to go to the next sprint. So right now in the standings, we have John Kroom on 123 points. Aaron Young is still at 102 points. He hasn't scored any points in this race. Lachlan has scored 3 points in this race, so that moves him up to 103. So that puts him into a theoretical second place currently on the track. Daniel Brewer now has 98 points, so he still sits in 4th place. And Frank Travieso, Frank has 87 points, which keeps him in 5th place. Meanwhile, Willem's 15 points so far has him knocking on the door of the top 10. He wins 2 more sprints. He's going to be knocking some folks out of the top 10 and out of the money spots. And Willem has the field in sight. So when he comes around this time and makes contact, let's cheer him on. Let's acknowledge a job well done because he just went up 20 points. Way to go, Willem. Good job. And Willem lapped the field, and I know he was anxious to do it right before a sprint lap, but a good tactic would have been if Willem sat off just 10 meters before the sprint. So not only would he have gotten the sprint points, but he would have gotten the lap points as well. He would have gotten 25 points in one go. But, you know, such is life and such is bike racing. So Frank Travieso taking advantage of the lull after that sprint. He wants those extra points. He saw what Willem does. He says, maybe I can do the same thing. If I got myself 20 points, I could pull myself right back into this Omnium as well. If Frank went up 20 points, that would give him 104. That would pull him back into 2nd place, which is where he was before his chain popped off in the missing out, and he lost all those placings. And Willem, wasting no time, Willem decides, you know what, 1 lap was good. Maybe 2 would be better. And now he's got some horsepower for company. So we'll see what happens. He's got some other riders to work with. John Kroom sits up. He has Jacob Holt do the pace setting. Jacob's already down a lap. So Jacob's pulling himself in. Jacob's just doing this for pride now at this point. Pulling that gap back. So with that 20-point swing, Willem has earned 35 points in this race. And that now puts him solidly in 8th place. And he's knocking on the door for 7th if he can get any more points. And Johnny Delbridge still holding on in this race right now. Your current junior national Omnium champion. Keyword being junior. He's doing well, holding his own against the big boys here, which already shows his potential. But this is definitely a lot faster than he's used to. Now it's a party out there on the track. The field is almost all back together. So after an amazing amount of attacks, counterattacks, Willem Kaiser goes again with 12 laps to go. He is certainly in the pursuit of happiness right now to take the points race win. Yeah, Willem may hold on to 4th place points here. Lachlan Holiday is certainly going to take 1st place points, followed by Frank the Tank, and Daniel Brewer. And Daniel Brewer, classic textbook counterattack after the sprint. Off the front, he wants to try and get a few more points. So with 9 laps to go, our top 5 is starting to get tight. So John Kroom on 124 points. Lachlan Holiday on 111 points. Aaron Young is struggling right now. He is definitely struggling to stay inside the top 3 on the podium. He might just hold on if Daniel does not get any points here in this last sprint. But the spread now is super tight. John Kroom on 124, Lachlan Holiday on 111, Aaron Young on 102, and Daniel Brewer on 100. So with double points coming up on the last sprint, I think the only position that is secured is John Crooms. As if Lachlan wins, he can only get within 3 points of Kroom if Kroom doesn't get any points. Jacob Holt taken off. He is a lap down. Oh, no, he's not. He's not a lap down. He's still on the same lap. He's managed to scrap his way back into this race each and every time. It's a good effort from Jacob. He's going to try to get a few more points too here. He can stay off the front with 5 to go. Daniel Brewer and Aaron Young. They're now fighting for that final podium position now. So Daryl Christopher, Aaron's teammate, trying to cover Daniel so that Daniel doesn't get those points. Daryl just can't match the pace. It's been a long race and it's been a long night. So 3 laps to go for Daniel. Let's see if he can keep pouring the pace on. He's got a little help from, he got up to Jacob Holt now, so he's got a little bit of a slipstream. So perhaps Daniel can ride a kilo now at this point, even though it's less than 3 laps to go. He just needs to put everything he has into this effort here so that he can get that last podium position. Aaron Young sitting on Richard Keller's wheel. He's letting Richard pull him up, see if he can get within striking distance and get some points in this last sprint. So here we go. Let's make some noise, everybody. 1 to go, 1 to go, 1 to go. 1, stop, 2, go. And John knows he's got this one, so he's going to sit it out. Make sure he stays safe. Aaron Young and Frank Travieso blitzing across. I don't think Aaron's going to have the distance to make up to Daniel. This is going to be a really tight points count. And Willem Kaiser, who would normally be the winner of your points race, crossing the line there. We're in the Omnium format here. And we've got some sprintings for the minor places. And John Kroom, ladies and gentlemen, cheer him on, the winner of your evening. And Aaron Young passing by right now. Frank Travieso, Lachlan Holiday, Daniel Brewer. All those names I just mentioned in with a shot of the top 5 for sure. All right, everybody, before you go, don't forget about our after party at Chairs at 2783 Main Street in East Point, right across from the MARTA station, right on the corner. Pool tables, craft beer, arcade games, burgers, tacos, briskets. I know I've got a hungry appetite right now. All this talking is hard work. Good way to burn some calories. You'll definitely find me over there. We want to thank them. Without Chairs, we would not have been able to help serve up this atmosphere here tonight, as well as the Atlanta Airport District for their continued support for the Spin the District events. Such a great series of events. So happy to have it here in East Point, Hateville, and College Park. Don't forget the Union City Grand Fondo coming up this Sunday with both paved and unpaved options. Of course, Q&A events for their event expertise, the East Point Track Club for their muscle, and Ethic Inc. We're going to do our podium presentation in just a minute, so stick around for that so you can take your pictures and get your autographs from the future champions and Olympians of the world. And such a great evening here in late September for Spin the District. Nice, cool, crisp air. Couldn't have a better event. Event temperature, it's not boiling hot like it could be a few weeks ago for our usual Pro Race Series event. So we're just adding up the final Omnium points right now. Then we can do our podium presentation for our men and women. Mr. Carney, Mr. Jamie Carney, we have a technical expertise question for you. If you can come up to the judges' stand. All right, adding up the last few points here so that we can do the podium presentation. Ava. Oh, who is that? Sound coming from? Ava. Yeah. There's too many good smells around here for her to be interested. She's right over there in front of the building. All right, our results are now up and posted on dicklanevelodrome.com, so we will start our podium presentation right now. We are going to have our women podium first, women's podium. So we'd like to call Annalise, Morgan, and Madeline to the front of the judges' stand, please. Guess we don't have the boxes out. We can still do a podium right in front of the judges' stand. We're not going to pull the podium boxes. Oh, podiums are up top by the sparkly bike. I'm sorry. It'd be helpful if somebody told me that beforehand. Okay, I'll do it from the tower. Everybody who's on the podium, please go up to in front of the concession stand. Apparently we have a sparkly disco bike podium for you and your podium presentation. Apologies. Minor details. All right, in our women's field, do we have Madeline Pierce with 114 points in third place? All right. Good work, Madeline. In second place with 123 points, Morgan Stern. And your winner tonight with a dominating 143 points, Annalise Ostreich. All right, excellent work to our podium finishers as well as all our ladies tonight at the Spin the District Dick Lane Velodrome edition. For our men's field, in third place, pulling it out in the very last race with 110 points is Daniel Brewer. All right. In second place with 111 points is Lachlan Holiday. And your winner with 124 points, Mr. John Kroom. All right. Thank you to everybody for participating in the Spin the District. And don't forget the last events coming up on Sunday with the Union City Grand Fondo. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. And don't forget about the after party at Chairs, kicking off right about now. We'll see you next year.